After China placed retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. this week, President Trump urged American companies to start looking for alternatives to China. The White House cited a law that would allow the president to force American companies to limit transactions with China. Rion has the latest from Washington.
Scoffing media outlets reported that President Trump's imperious tones urging U.S. companies to leave China was baffling and inactionable. Our great American companies, tweeted Trump, are hereby ordered to immediately start looking for an alternative to China, including bringing your companies home and making your products in the USA. The mocking reactions by media abounded, but President Trump then caught these same writers and reporters off guard by laying out exactly how he would force U.S. companies to not do business with China. Trump tweeted, "For all of the fake news reporters that don't have a clue as to what the law is relative to presidential powers, try looking at the Emergency Economic Powers Act. Case closed." The International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the IEEPA, authorizes the president to regulate international commerce after declaring a national emergency. And in this case, President Trump says he can impose this act on China.
I have the absolute right to do that. We'll see how that goes, but I have the absolute right. 1977, check it out.
Some critics wrongly claimed this act was reserved for enemies, not trading partners. Rutgers law professor Shehar Aziz lays out the legal side of this act.
The president, during peacetime, can deal with any unusual and extraordinary threat to national security, foreign policy, or the economy.
The U.S. has a history of protecting its economic and national security through executive power. The 1917 Trading with Enemies Act banned economic activity with the enemy in times of war. Under President Franklin Roosevelt, this rule was extended to peacetime and went on to become a critical tool of the Cold War. If this act were instated against China, President Trump would have to declare the China trade war a national emergency and then declare China an enemy of the state and trade. Entities owned by China may then be forced to sell to the U.S. Chinese assets in the U.S. would be frozen. The act would ban U.S. companies from doing business with China at all and would ban U.S. companies operating out of China from bidding on federal contracts. Such a move could have ruinous effects for China and may well bring them back to the negotiating table. Rion, One American News, the White House.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.